Hi guys, I'm here with a bit of a different video today. As you can see, my setting is a bit different. I'm actually inside today. So I'm going to talk about how to prevent and get rid of lice and mites. They are a big problem with birds. It doesn't matter if it's pigeons, budgies, any sort of bird that you can get. I'm going to tell you how to keep all birds safe rather than just pigeons. I've found like doing research and things is probably the most effective way you can do it. So I'll start with what I do use. So I actually use this Harker's. It prevents canker, worms, external parasites. That's like your lice, your mites, anything else like your ticks as well that might even get on there. So this one's a 4-in-1 solution. So I just have a syringe, and what I do is I put this into their water. With this, it does say oral use only, so you cannot put this onto the bird's skin. It will damage them and it won't end very well. So how I do it is, see the little stopper, it's got a little top, put the syringe in there, flip it upside down, I just measure however much I need. I don't know if you can see that very well on the camera, but that's what I do, and then I just squirt it straight into their water, and they just drink it like that really. And I've never had any problems with it. It's always been sort of one that I've relied on. This is a fairly new bottle, so it is pretty much full, but this can last quite a while. So I do like to give a little bit under, just because I don't want to overdose my pigeons on it. So, but I always read the instructions. So this is add a 6 ml to every 1 litre of water. And they can have it for a 5-day period. I don't always give it into 5 days. Obviously, coming up to winter, I might up the dosage, like to obviously 5 days, but I don't always do that. I do like to try and like space out how often I give it to them. So I might do like coming up to winter 1 week of having a solid 5 days, 1 week of having a break, or like do it in like blocks sort of thing. So just to get on to the different types that you can use. So there's the chemical mite and lice sprays or medicines like what I use here. There's certain sprays you can get if you go onto Amazon, or even research. Honestly, I cannot express enough to do research. There could be some for you, some that you might not like. There's some for certain types of birds, some for others. Obviously, you've got like the small birds, the big birds. You've got like oral use. You've got on the skin, on the feathers. So definitely do your research on what you're going to use. So the chemical mites and spray lice. So there's some that are for all birds. I recommend probably going for the ones for all birds just to be safe. Because they might do a brand that's for all birds, a brand that's for certain type of birds. I definitely do the research on the birds that you keep. Obviously, so I keep fancy pigeons. That's like the all-round sort of breed of what they are. But if I'm ever like trying to get anything new for them, I always look at like the Indian fantails and Birmingham rollers, just making sure it's definitely 100% safe for my birds. I don't want to do anything that's going to like, harm them, anything like that. So for the sprays, always, please guys, read the instructions. Or if they don't come with the instructions, watch a YouTube video. Honestly, YouTube was my best friend, and it still is now, for my research. Especially when I was using things like medicine, hemp seeds, sunflower hearts, everything that I give to my birds, I've researched or YouTubed it first, just to make sure it is 100% safe. There's always going to be someone out there who is more knowledgeable than what like I am myself. Obviously, I as a content creator want to make sure that I'm telling the right information. So if I did my research on all the sprays that you can get, all the medicines, everything like that before I did this video. So when you're doing a spray, protect the bird's head. So that could mainly to protect their eyes, and with it being chemical, you don't want to get it in their eyes by accident. So what I would do is get like a towel, a little like paper towel, kitchen roll, toilet bowl, anything like that. Put it over their head and just do their body. Don't spray too much either. You don't want to like have them soaking wet. Again, if the instructions say like 1 pump, 2 pumps, stick to that. Don't ever think that it's just there for guidance. That's like the dosage. Don't ever go over that. And once the spray's on, just gently massage it. Either go the way of the feathers. If the feathers grow down, rub down. If they're going up, obviously rub up. You can very, very gently go like the opposite way to the feathers. I wouldn't recommend it because it could pull feathers out. It could damage new feathers that are just developing. So I'll definitely go the direction of the feathers. Option number 2 is using lemongrass. So lemongrass is a herb. It can be used like a tea or a coffee. So the best way to do the lemongrass spray is to get a little tea or coffee infuser. It comes in like a ball or like a oval sort of shape. Pop some in, put the lid on, put boiling water over the infuser and let it soak until the water turns a little bit green, or you can really smell it. That's probably the best way that I would do it. Sort of like let it infuse, let all the fumes come out, and then once you've done that, because it is boiling water, don't forget guys that you're going to pour over it, please let it cool down. Either pop it in the fridge or let it cool naturally on the side. Pop it into a spray bottle once it's cooled. Test it on yourself first, make sure it's not too hot. Same as what you would do with the baby with a bottle. Test it on yourself first. If it's too hot, it's going to be too hot for your birds. So I would say sort of like cold or slightly warm. I wouldn't go any more than slightly warm really. Test it on yourself and then spray it on the birds if it's safe. So the best thing about lemongrass is it does help with a number of things. Obviously it can prevent lice and mites, but it's also antibacterial. So if your bird has any like little like scratches, wounds, anything like that, it will help to keep that nice and like clean. And like I said guys, it won't get rid of lice and mice 100%. You might need to use something else alongside. So for example, if I was to use this and it got rid of the lice and mice completely, I would then use a lemongrass based spray as well, just to try and like prevent that from happening again. It's like the smell, it just deters any lice, mites that might be interested in obviously like getting in contact with your bird. And then the other thing is as well, because lemongrass is like a natural herb, you can use it on their heads. Try to avoid their eyes. It might sting a little bit, but it's not going to damage their eyes at all. But still try and avoid their eyes if you can. So if you're going to do their heads, either very gently spray or spray it onto your fingers first and then massage it in like a soap sort of thing. And then a little tip, especially if you have the really small like finch sort of bird, budgies, anything like that, is if you're holding your bird, don't squeeze. I know that they're going to wriggle and they're going to try and get out, because if they're not used to sort of like, you're going to get them into all sorts of positions, like, you know, you might have to turn them upside down to get their belly, you might have to sort of try and like manoeuvre them a lot. They're not going to like that, so don't squeeze your bird, just hold it firmly. Or if you have someone with you who can hold the bird for you, do that as well. Like for my pigeons, if I'm ever trying to like check for any sort of lice, anything like that, because I do check them quite a lot, I ask someone to come and help me just hold the bird while I just have a quick look, and then we'll release them straight away. So yeah, but don't squeeze because it could hurt them, especially their wings, their legs, ribs, anything like that. It could actually really, really hurt them. My third and final tip as well is a lemongrass bath. So same process of making the lemongrass spray, except you're going to offer it in a bath instead, like a little dish or a tub, or if they've got a bath, obviously you pour it in there instead. So don't worry if they drink it, it is safe for them to drink, and again, they'll just do their thing, you know, they'll just do it themselves. So if you think that the mixture is too concentrated, or you think it might look a bit too concentrated or smell a bit too concentrated, feel free to add a little bit of just plain water into it, mix it together, and that should dilute it a little bit. But these are just so good, and again, it is antibacterial, so if they have any cuts or bruises, anything like that that might get infected, the lemongrass bath will help it to keep nice and clean. So obviously if you do have any like cuts or anything like that, do keep an eye on them, but again, offer like a lemongrass bath. It can help to flush it all out and again prevent any sort of parasites while we're there. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video guys. I'll come back for another one, and if you've got any questions, please drop them in the comments below. Bye.